Music! Music!
Let's get it!
Broadcasting to you from a little grass shack in the middle of the Pacific.
Live in the place to be.
Well, they're actually in the Bay Area.
Yeah,
but they are the premier Pacifica show that shines a spotlight on positive Pacific Islanders.
You listening to the sound.
Role models coming brown every Thursday night at 6.
East to west, we getting hurt.
Brought to you by Pacifica by Design. It's the iconic FICA podcast with your hosts, Naki and Carl.
What's up?
Oh
What's
my
up?
God. It's going to be a good show. I'm so excited.
It's going to be a fun show.
It's going to be
a fun show.
I'm excited. If you don't know, I've gotten text messages like, how did you get Alpha and Ben? How did you get Alpha? I was like, I got my tricks up my sleeve.
So Naki is letting the cat out of the bag. She's landed a big guest off Alu, and Benjamin Bloomfield Powell will be on in the second half to talk about the fashion show that's coming up, and all the great things are going to be accompanied with that. And we haven't seen and talked to Ben in a long minute, right?
Yeah,
so
he looks fabulous. He looks fabulous. We had a series of Koviki Talk during COVID. And Ben got it really bad, like serious enough that he was in the hospital, and we got to talk to him during that time.
You know what I liked about that whole piece was he was brave and he shared his journey to try to help other people.
Yeah.
Right. So this guy was close. Like
Yes.
he was in a bad way.
Mhm.
And he shared his journey, his emotions, his feelings, at a really dark moment in his life so that other people could learn and hopefully not, go through the same things that he did. But yes, he looks absolutely amazing. You will all get to see Ben a few
Yes.
years later, 5 years removed from COVID,
Yeah.
and doing his
Saved
thing.
lives. Yeah. Ben doesn't know this, I'm sure, but him telling his story, you probably most likely saved lives by telling your story. So, and at that time, it was so early on, people didn't want to admit whether they had COVID or not, just because of the stigma. But
So from the hospital to the runway, the last time
there
we
you
saw
go.
him, now we see him
Good job.
hosting the runway. So that is in the second half. We have community announcements, as always, huge things coming up. And then we got some goings on in the country nowadays. We're going to discuss that briefly. And that's the show today. Naki, what you got?
Yeah, we have tons of goings on in the country this
Mhm.
week. Our poor country is just going through some crazy
Going through it. We are
Going
through it.
through it. And I think the current governor of California probably nailed his nomination for the next election.
Picking the right fight if you want some visibility.
Right.
And everybody is looking for somebody to stand up and take a stand. So a little bit of that's a different topic for us, taking a stand and saying what you believe in. But yeah, Governor Newsom in the news. Obviously, the things that are going on, it started in Los Angeles and now it's really all over the country. But it's a difficult time right now. Everybody has a different way to feel because we have different situations going on. And we had talked to a strong member of the church and the community earlier about that and how, just how sensitive everything is and how we act, how we walk, how we show up is much more under scrutiny at this point. I think people are being, probably driving the speed limit more often, probably not, coming in contact at all, if possible. But yeah, it is a wild time.
It's a wild time. It's a wild time to and who'd have thunk it?
2025, this stuff going on.
This crazy stuff going on. I'm watching the NBA Finals is currently in motion. OKC and
so
Indiana.
it's a series, right? Everybody thought Oklahoma
Mhm.
City was just going to run them over, right? And ooh, looky here, we
Yeah.
got Oklahoma City down 2-1,
Hmm.
and all of a sudden they're in the fight of their lives against a
Yeah.
team they were supposed to walk over, and
It's a
that's
true
what they
fight.
say. That's why you got to play the games. You may
That's
be
right. Yeah.
favored by a whole bunch, but you got to play the game.
Got to play the games. So that doesn't mean anything when it comes towards the end of the. It's all heart, all heart. The finals is all heart.
Indiana is flashing hard. Indiana's got like they may run out of gas and they may not win the series,
Yeah.
but they weren't a walkover. They weren't what they thought OKC just going to run through them. Not happening.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so I've been watching the NBA finals just because the first game I was like, oh, I'm going for OKC, or then the next minute he's going for Indiana. And then they came back, like they were down and came back up into the last second. Then the second game, of course, OKC took it. And then the other night, was it last night? Indiana was back with the second win.
Yeah, and the second game two, I think OKC led like the whole
Mhm.
game until the final 2 minutes. Like they had the game,
Yeah.
and man, Indiana never gives up. It's a great series, especially
Yeah.
because us Dubs fans, we got a little tired. We're going to the finals so often that it's nice to take a year off and just watch the series. No skin
We're
in the game.
regrouping.
We just want to see a good series. Let's see it go seven and overtime and all that stuff, and we don't have to stress out about who's going to win. And yeah, we're just regrouping. We'll be back.
Yeah, we're regrouping. So, Reina Sablo Guillermo, thank you for tuning in. Anna Dowden, Melly Tua Opepe. Okay, look at
Look
me.
at you getting them vowels.
I'm trying to hit all the vowels, trying to hit all the vowels. But thank you for tuning in. You're in for a treat the second half because you got to stay tuned. Who knows? You may see Carl on the runway this year.
Must be a different Carl that Naki's talking about. But there will be a runway, and it will be star-studded and have Pacific
Star
Islanders
studded. Like,
walking up and down it, flossing their gear.
that's right. That's right. And we actually were trying to go last year. I don't know what happened. We either one of us got sick or something, but our
Was it
tickets,
this?
we got
Yeah.
tickets, and then our Afu family went in place of us, so it was good. So I'm looking forward to this year. Lots and lots of great. You're gonna see great fashion. Okay, I just will wait. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I can't wait. But in the news, like I think next week we'll be talking Juneteenth. I get the 19th off for Juneteenth. We'll be celebrating that, and then I may take Friday off. I don't know,
Look at
but
you and that federal job got lots
yeah,
of days off.
I'm not federal, but I
You run
align.
by federal rules or federal
We
guidelines, right?
align. We try to align with the federal rules. Nigel Fanguna Kefu Fotu, thank you for tuning in. Gloria SN, thank you for tuning in. So you want to talk about your, what is
Week, or
it?
you want to get into the topics, or what
Yeah,
are we
your
doing?
week. Yeah, tell us about your week.
Oh, so last week we did the show,
Mhm.
and I was in a hotel, and I had to work at midnight. So we did the
Oh,
show
in Oakland.
in Oakland. We did the show, and then I was up till midnight, and then I went to work in Oakland um, on International in like 20, I don't know, 12th, 13th, somewhere.
And
Not
that's
not
it.
not the greatest.
Interesting neighborhood.
It's a
Yes.
very interesting neighborhood, especially at
Mhm.
midnight.
Yes.
So I was up all day, all night, all day, and then I finally got to sleep late on Friday. Got up on Saturday, and what did we do on Saturday? Saturday we had an event. Um, we have an event in San Jose, right?
Yes.
Was that so? We had an event to attend, a family event to attend in San Jose, um, and then Sunday, I can't. Oh, so Sunday I have church,
Road trip.
and then I go come home, and then we decided, Nicole and I decided to run to Reading to see this light show. Um, and so it was Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Sunday night, and then Monday night we went to my cousin's up in Shingle Springs for dinner. So it was like it was good to see everybody, but man, Monday night, Tuesday night, it was good to get some sleep. I don't know how you do it because that agenda is like
I didn't do nothing.
that's like a moley agenda. Run from one thing to another and get no sleep. That's how y'all do. I don't. I was tired, tired, tired. And I was saying, vampire blood doesn't run through my veins. It does through yours and your family. Y'all could do
No,
that.
I slept. The after, so we went to a birthday party, a 70th birthday party. Our cousin Anna. So happy birthday to Anna.
Oh, that's
She
right.
turned 70.
Two
And
things that day.
then it was at a restaurant that they
Paisanos.
Paisanos, which it was a private party, so the we had the whole restaurant to ourselves. The food was Italian, was amazing, and then the desserts were by Shasha Sweets, which go follow her on Instagram. The cookies were so good. Shasha Sweets, go.
What
And
was it?
then
The snickerdoodle and the chocolate chip
Snickerdoodle
cookies.
cookies, and then the JJ's chocolate chips. But the cookies are like this big, and
Cookies are like
like
three or four
one,
cookies.
yeah, yes, and one cookie you can eat throughout the day, and then after that we left the Anna's birthday party, 70th. And then we went to Luca's first birthday party, Dr. Tai Faleava and his wife, Mrs. Leah Faleava, celebrated their son's first birthday on Saturday. Tons, and I mean tons of food, tons. And I like that. I like tons of food. So I was happy camper all day
They're sending people home
with
not with
trays,
plates, not with
trays
plates,
of food.
trays. And
Yes,
you didn't make it out. Like if you tried to sneak out, the only way you'd get out of there without a tray is if you snuck out. Because
yeah.
if Leah saw you leaving, you were getting a tray.
Yes, yes. So it was a great family weekend, great time celebrating Luca. The whole Boasa and Faleava family were there. So we got some good quality time. Some good quality family time was had this weekend. And then I
Good to
said,
see the Powasa family. Good to see because we don't get to see, especially Levi and Obi, right?
okay.
It was cool seeing them. We got to catch up with Levi and talk about because he's from Maui,
Maui.
right? So I was asking how is the rebuilding going? How is Lahaina doing? Because he lives just I think south of. He lives
It
close. He lives
wasn't
in
too
Keegan.
far where the fires were
Yeah.
happening. It wasn't too
So
far.
watching things get rebuilt and talking to him about, you hear these crazy things about land grabs where developers are trying to grab the land. And he talked about how the locals and the Hawaiians are not allowing that to happen. And it was interesting to listen to a local a couple of
Yeah.
years, removed and see what's going on there. So really, it was a great time to catch up with everybody.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah. Great weekend. Busy work week. And so I'm going back full time to work in September. Going back every day in September. So I'll be catching BART, which is our train transportation in Northern California, or I'll be catching the ferry. So
Or you'll
look
be
out for
sitting
me.
in traffic.
Or I'll be sitting. Not really. Yeah, not really, but Masi and Tawa, Lorna, Marjune, thank you for tuning in. You're in for a treat the second half of our show. I'm just
Stick
saying,
around.
don't go
Stick around.
nowhere. Don't go nowhere. Share so other people on your news feed can watch our special guests coming up.
Fashion Kings.
Yes. Okay, so what is the No Kings?
So, if you haven't heard, the 14th is going to be a day of protests from the No Kings org. So, nokings.org. Um, you can go find out more about it. But it's it is it's a protest, and to get the scope of how big this is going to be, when I went to the website, was like, okay, so let me see the cities and see which cities are going to do it. When you look at that map about what cities are going to be participating in the No Kings protest, um, I mean, there's less land that doesn't have dots than does have dots.
Mhm.
So every one of those dots represent a signed up uh, protest of, and it's a protest of what's going on right now. And I think that um, I'm a little surprised actually that it took this long. We're in the middle of June, um, and I think everybody knew the protests were coming. It was just a matter of what are they going to look like. So I will say I hope the protests are peaceful. I hope the protests don't involve destruction of private property and all that horrible stuff. But this is really um, the country, a large portion of the country, uniting to say we don't like what's going on. But no King's protest, and looks like it's on the 14th. Going to be a huge deal. You can go to the website and see the times and check your city. If you're in a city that has one of the protests and kind of see what time all of it's going to go down and that kind of thing. But it's interesting to see the I don't know what the protests in the 50s and 60s felt like,
Uh-huh.
um, and obviously they
You
didn't have
don't?
social media. I was alive in the 60s,
Just
barely, but
kidding.
um, I don't know what it felt like, right? But and then have social media and the internet to coordinate everything. Uh, but it feels like something, right? It just feels like
Yeah.
something, a lot of pressure boiling up, and somehow it's got to let off some steam. So it looks like on the 14th there's going to be a lot of protests. You can go to the site, see for yourself on if your city's involved and what time and where. And if you want to get involved, obviously the website will have more information for you. We're not promoting that, right? But just something that's going on in the country,
Information is.
information for you to have if you want it. What do you think about it all, Naki?
I just heard about it when you brought it up during our conversation earlier, so I didn't know anything about a No Kings protest. I'm all for whatever is going to help us move forward towards a better place to live here. I'm not one to get out there only because I can't be around a lot of people because of my immune system. But the only thing is, if you're in San Francisco, don't make me late to work. Don't make me sit on the bridge. Don't make me late to nothing. I'm just trying to get home, mind my own business. And I support you, but don't jack me up. Just don't
Who
jack
was
me
it?
up.
Was it Woody Harrelson? Somebody who like took over the Bay Bridge like 20 years ago. I can't remember. There was
Oh,
some actor was involved with a protest on the Bay Bridge, and boy, that name was not
mud.
cheered in the in the Bay Area. If you were trying to get into San Francisco on that day, I think it was Woody Harrelson, but whoever it was,
I
you know,
100% believe in the cause. I 100% believe in the cause. I probably won't be going to work that day, just because of the protests that will be happening all over the Bay Area, all over the United States. Um, I 100% believe in the cause. I do feel that there's some kind of not democracy, what is where somebody is that person is trying to lead us into somewhere where we're not wanting to go. But I won't be marching just because that's not my thing. I rather write letters to my senator, and you know, I don't. And I am a person of color. Dictatorship. Thank you, Anna. Look, girl. Um, Dictatorship. I think he is trying to lead us down that road. I don't think it will happen, just because of laws and Congress and everything like that.
I
But
think that's what people are saying. People are
yeah,
saying no kings. We don't have kings in America,
right.
right? I think
We
that's
do
the
not. We do not. And I'm just not. I. I'm with you in spirit. I just won't be marching, but I will be writing letters to my senator, writing letters to my local government, just making sure locally me and my kids are okay. This is what I'm saying. I'm a person of color. And so, you know, there's people, law enforcement, that are going crazy picking up people. And so it's kind of sad that this is happening in this day and time. And I don't know how to get rid of it other than we're going to be fighting for our lives the next 4 years. And so hopefully it will get better. That's all we can hope for.
Yeah, I think the piece that has a lot of people concerned is the federal government taking over state level National Guards, right? And it's happened before. It's happened like the pictures at Kent State that you see of the National Guardsmen desegregating schools, taking that
Oh,
little
yeah.
black girl into the school, right? That's a National Guard guardsman. There are times that National Guard has been federalized, so to speak, to help and enforce some things, but some of the things that this administration wants to do is actually be able to use the state's National Guard in different states. So you could, they're asking, oh, could we take National Guard troops from California and put them on the border in Texas, for example, right? That's the piece that I think people are concerned about, the reach of the government saying, hey, we're just going to take your National Guard and do what we want with it. That's not something that's been done before, right? But like a lot of things in our world now, it ends up in court, and I'm sure this is going to end up in court. Actually, we were talking about it earlier. Governor Newsom has already sent it to court, right? So somewhere a judge, and then probably an appeal court, and then maybe even the Supreme Court is going to say whether what's going on is okay or not. So that's probably how this will all play out.
We just pray and hope for the best. Pray for the best. Have faith. Have faith. All right. All right. Anything else?
I think
Community
we're good.
announcements.
Head to community announcements.
Community announcements is where we try to help promote or informational purposes, where we let you know what event is happening around us. If you have anything you would like to share, please feel free to send it to us so that we can promote it or add it to our community announcements.
Awesome. All right.
Woo!
Fatasi and APRA present Box Fit Fun with Will Shaw at the Lab in India Basin Shoreline Park. Free 13-week program. It's already started. Started on May 11th. Runs through August 3rd. 11 through 15-year-olds are from 1 to 2:30, and 16 years and up from 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Click on the link on the flyer to register.
Awesome. And then I'm stuck. Northern California Chamorro Club is hosting half a day at the park this Saturday. It's this Saturday, folks. So, get there at 11 a.m. It's going from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's free entry, free food while supplies last, raffle and drink tickets. Raffles, bring your own chairs and blankets. There's limited seating. If you're interested in becoming a vendor, contact Tim Santos at 408-892-4560. It is happening in Vacaville, California. There is a schedule. Scan the QR code if you need more information, and go.
Another event on June 14th, right?
Yes.
Pacific Communities of Alaska presents Voices of Care. This is PCA's second session of Voices of Care, and it's happening this month. It's a space for Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islanders, healthcare workers to connect, reflect, and discuss how they bridge gaps between Pacifica clients and providers and systems. June 16th is the virtual session over Zoom, and then June 18th is the in-person event from 6 to 8 p.m. at 3001 Porcupine Drive in Anchorage, Alaska. Scan the QR code on the flyer for more info, or go to PCA's Instagram page, and the handle is at Pacific Community AK.
Awesome. Central Valley Pacific Islander Emerging Leader Conference is hosting its third annual Central Valley Pacific Islander Emerging Leaders Conference. We invite all high school youth, including incoming freshmen and youth adults ages 14 to 20 of Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander descent living in Central Valley. One RSVP form is required per attendee. Please DM or email info@cvpia.org if you have any questions or thoughts. June 18th to June 20th.
Pacific Feats is having their 4th annual music festival. We don't know the lineup. We do know where it's going to be this year. It's going to be at the Shoreline Amphitheater. And we do know where and when. When is July 12th and 13th. So put that on your calendar. Check out their website for more information, pacificfeatsfestival.com.
Creative Pacific Fashion Show is happening August 1st. This is one of the attendees fashion show. I mean, we have AFA and we have Ben coming on to talk about this event where you can get your tickets, where you can get all your information. You need to follow them on Instagram for all their upcoming announcements. And we'll have more details with AFA and Ben coming up in a few minutes.
Yeah, stick around. They'll tell you all about it. All right. All My Usos 10th annual Family Day Barbecue is August 16th. If you've been to one of these, you know how big it is, and you know Cree's going to make the 10th annual even bigger. It's a special event dedicated to celebrating community and honoring the memory of our late founder, J.T. Mawia. This gathering began during his courageous battle with cancer, and over the years, it's grown into something much bigger than just his story. Free health screenings, live performances, music, food, raffles, family games, resources, and so much more. Go to the so we do. We have a vendor slide. Check out the vendors. All of that is free. So if you see, vendors like funnel keke, all things dipped, all the food there is going to be free, and obviously there's going to be a big plate lunch as well. So bring the family and friends for a day of fun, connection, and let's make new memories together. And as always, this is the saying they always say: leave the drama at home.
Mm-hmm. Rhythmic Catalyst presents Josh Totofi on September 4th at the Center for Performing Arts in San Jose, California. Special guests, Kenya and everyone's favorite tag team MCs Western Conference. Get your tickets now at joshtotofimusic.com.
And just to mention, our 2025 for 25 PBD campaign still going on. Feel free to scan the QR code to donate. Thank you to everyone who's donated so far. We appreciate the contributions. Shout out to Mama Sil for their donation of $100. It's a tough time to be asking for money. We understand that. This is our first and only fundraiser in PBD's history. So if you feel the want to contribute and it's not a bill, go ahead and scan the QR code and donate.
Awesome. So the time has come for the big, this is really huge. This event that happens every year, we buy tickets and then we donate them to folks that are living in Utah. Our Afu family went last year on behalf of PBD, but we fully support this event. It's a great, amazing event. We're going to try to get there, but let's introduce our first guest, Afa Alu. Born and raised in Samoa, Afa is not only a proud son of the Pacific, but a true trailblazer in the global fashion scene. I don't know why I'm going to cry. Now living in Utah with his wife, Laura, and their two beautiful children, Vera and Etty. Afa has spent over 15 years turning his creative vision into art that's been seen and celebrated around the world. He made history as the first Samoan to compete on Project Runway season 17 and has since continued to break barriers as both a designer and a leader in the creative space. Afa's work has graced red carpets, been worn by celebrities, and featured in major publications like Vogue USA, Vogue UK, and Elle magazine. Just to name a few, that's just a few. And did we mention he was invited to Buckingham's Palace by Queen Elizabeth II? We're just amazed by the work that he's doing. He's a product designer at Purple, and by passion, he's lifting up the next generation of creatives through his leadership and vision. We are honored and welcome. Welcome to the show, Alpha.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Also joining us today is someone who brings both artistry and heart to everything he does. Originally from Fiji with maternal roots in the Kingdom of Tonga, Ben Bloomfield Powell has spent the last 5 years in Salt Lake City, where he continues to make an incredible impact. He's a co-founder of Creative Pacific, a nonprofit organization dedicated to educating, inspiring, and creative inclusive spaces for Pacific Islanders and Indigenous creatives. Ben is a licensed professional in cosmetology, barbering, and aesthetics across 5 states. He works closely with the cosmetology education sector, serving on the boards of multiple schools to help shape curriculum and accreditation. Beyond the classroom and the salon, he gives back through community projects, offering complimentary haircuts, styling, and hair care education to those who need it most. We're honored to have this multi-talented beauty expert and community leader with us tonight. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Good to
so
see you.
much. We're like in awe. We're like, really. We love the work that you guys have been doing. Of course, I'm stalking you on social media, and I've been watching everything and anything that's creative by Creative Pacific. We meant to we the show that happened last year. We bought tickets. I wanted to come so bad. Either I got sick or I don't know what happened, but we sent 2 people to the show. I don't know if you know Daisha, but that's who we were supposed to go with. But she rubbed it in she rubbed it in on me and everything. So welcome to the show. We're grateful to have you on. Afa, is there anything we missed? And tell us about what you're doing now.
As far as Creative Pacific goes,
Yes,
or just in
yes,
general?
anything, yes.
Well, Creative Pacific, we, as you guys may know, we have our event that's coming up July 31st to August 2nd. Last year we had a whole week, and that was a feat of its own.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work, and it was worth it. We had a lot of people come out to our event. We had a sold out show. Well, we have multiple shows, all of which were sold out, but it was just a really great time last year. And so, learning from those experiences from last year and how we could downsize it and make it even more effective this year.
Mhm.
We've come up with just 3 days this year. It was all Ben's idea to make it 6 days. So he can speak on that also. But anyway, so yeah, we're just excited to be here, and thank you for having us. And yeah.
Thank you for coming on. Ben, how did the idea for Creative Pacific Fashion Week come about?
So a little background on Afa and I. We both obviously work in creative spaces with hair, and he's in the fashion industry side of things, um, and we actually virtually met before we physically met in person, and that was about 3.5 years ago. And it was through a show that was happening in San Francisco. Fast forward, after the show was done, we both had involvement. He was featuring his collection. I was involved in production and all that stuff. And then we realized we both lived in Utah, and we met. And from that conversation led to where there was actually 3 of us that started off together. It was called Utah Pacific Fashion at that time when we first got together. And the conversation was about how do we make it work, right? For what we both do professionally, how do we pay this back into our community? And do they really know what we do? Or do they just call us when you need a dress sewn and a shirt and your hair done for a wedding or a birthday? So we kind of thought, you know what? Let's just do it. So I was teaching a class at a Paul Mitchell school, and we kind of just mapped it out together that the person who was going to be my model for the class was actually a lady that Auntie Vai that lives here that Afa had used and in photo shoots, and she's gorgeous, Pacific Island woman, and we thought, okay. So I said, okay, I'll do her hair. I'll get a student to do the makeup. Alpha said, "Okay, I'll get the wardrobe. We'll put it all together." And boom, we just made it happen just like that. That was our first collaboration together. The funny part, though, is that before all of this, we've kind of worked in some places together, but we never met. Like we've done, fashion show things together in different places, but we never really like introduced or said hi. And I never saw him, and he never saw me. It was through, thank goodness for social media and all the pictures that we're like, hey, you were there, I was there. And so from there, fast forward after Utah Pacific Fashion, Af and I felt strongly about what we were just going to focus on. So the two of us decided to move forward with what we'd like to do. And that's how Creative Pacific came about. We formed this, name and the logo and all of this to sitting there with so many different, ways of how we're gonna make this happen now that it's just the two of us, how we're gonna create a name that's catchy, that embraces all. And then we just started to focus. And so now we're 2025 into, getting into the next. It's almost like a season. Every year we're like, what are we going to do next? How we're gonna over, top what we did, or how are we going to create, so that it keeps the buzz going and the interests of what we both love doing and sharing that back. So, yeah, that's exactly kind of like what Creative Pacific, how it came about and how it was birthed, basically from what we both worked on. But yeah, we're excited for this year. It's going to be a lot of great changes from what we also did last year.
That's so awesome. I love that. I mean, I think I think since COVID, like Ben, we all met online. We have yet to meet in person, but it's gonna happen this
If
year. It's gonna happen
yes.
this year. Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Um, what inspired you both to create this platform and how do you say adding our culture and is that difficult to do? Like trying to stay in the now with adding our culture. And I'll ask you, Alpha.
Well, I think the main thing that we thought of is, like Ben had touched on, is how we would pay it forward.
Mm,
And us being creatives, and we had recognized that our people are very creative people. We are creators. We love creating with our hands. We're creative when it comes to music. We're just creative people in general, Pacific Islanders. And so we thought that we needed something to give a platform for our creatives. But the only reason why we use Pacific is because we're Pacific Islanders. But the main focus was just creative, regardless of what background you're from. So, like this year, we have designers that are, Palangis, and some that are Uli Uli. So we're not just focusing on, Pacific Islanders. The Pacific part of it just comes because we're Pacific Islanders ourselves. But yeah, that was the main reason behind why we wanted to create this platform. It's just to, now that we're here, Ben and I, why don't we pull our people up with us and work together to create a name for ourselves and for our people? It is difficult, to work in spaces that you don't normally see our people in. But it is with grit and perseverance that we can get to where we are. And, we're slowly making our way there. We're still learning. And we're just grateful for people that have sacrificed their time and their talents to help us, our families, our friends and loved ones who has really helped us along the way, our sponsors and everyone that volunteer for our show. We're just grateful that we're able to have this, backing of people that is able to believe in our mission and our vision and just come on this ride with us.
Alpha, what's been the most fun for you going through this, putting it all together, seeing the actual event? What part is the most fun you take the most enjoyment with?
I think watching the fashion show. I haven't done a lot, because we're always backstage. But just watching the designers and the models and the people look at the designs, that really gives me the thrill. Every time I see a runway start, it gets me emotional because we've worked so hard to get to that point, getting all the models coordinated, the hair and makeup, the designers, people that are flying in. That's the most fun part to me. It's just watching the show.
Awesome. Awesome.
What about you, Ben?
Um, just pivoting off what he has shared, uh, part of what we are really excited about is what we both professionally do, professionally get paid for, and that we're able to educate our community in that area because it's very rare. I mean, to find two guys to that do what we do and have stuck through this industry that we're both in can eat you up and spit you out quickly. I think culturally, because we're both first time landing immigrants to this country, we both know what it was like to grow up in the islands. And I think one of the things that holds both of us grounded is because we both know what the struggle was like when we first actually moved here. My parents, Afa moving here from Samoa. So we share a lot of similarity and parallels of our lives in that area that keeps us both grounded. And then the drive of where we both have seen ourselves in what we both do professionally and not seeing people in those spaces that look like us. And so the really most important thing for both of us, I think that we both share in common is how do we help those who are just like us to be successful? How can we mentor and guide them in the things that we both have learned through this process? Because the fashion show and what Afa just shared is so true. We're both workers and we're used to being backstage because that's what we both have done. Now that we're both leading the process, we have to learn to detach, right, in certain things. And so it's been a learning curve for both of us, but we're learning through this process, without the help of all the people that AFA has, shared. Our sponsors, we're grassroots. I mean, we started with nothing. So we're used to having nothing and we're used to making something out of nothing. And we're okay with that. I think that is the perseverance and I think that's just the grace of of our Pacific Island people, right? We're humble. We can make it happen. And so, what makes me most excited is the show, of course. But I think what I see with the next generation that really just warms my heart is the ability that they have confidence to walk and be in front of people at any shape, any age, any gender and anything that's socially unacceptable in the way that we live in this new country or in this country, right? So sometimes these kids are so divided between culture and tolerance and acceptance and I don't know if I should do that, self-doubt. But when we watch these kids walk on the runway and we see their parents cheering them on, oh yeah, that's the winner for me, because like I remember being that kid. I remember seeing the doubt I had and you watch and you listen and you work with them and then they overcome things. They're just on to the next level. And we hear that from the parents. So the show is just I think it's like the icing on the cake, but the joy is watching, what these kids get out of it as well too. And we both love it. I mean, we just laugh, and sometimes we both like shed our tears and go, "Gosh, did we just did that? We just did that. It just happened." So yeah,
I love that. I love that. I just thinking of, but the kids that you have on the show and the people that are watching the show, you really are inspiring them by seeing someone in fashion, by seeing someone doing makeup that looks like them. It's such a special thing. I don't think people realize it. That our kids need to see, like, representation. They need to see us in these spaces, and it just inspires them to do what you all are doing. So thank you for that. Thank you for that.
So do you see, I guess I'll ask Ben first. Do you see different, not levels, but do different generations embrace this process differently, or is it kind of something that transcends different generational gaps and it's accepted the same way, I guess? But is it accepted differently by different generations? Do you see that?
That's a really great question. Yes, it's. I think it's all perception is reality. I think each generation has a different reason behind why they would accept it so quickly, or question, or have just a little bit of unsureness, right? So I will say that when we did our first show, we had over almost 600 people that showed up, dressed up. I mean, our Pacific Island community came full force. One, I think it was because this was the first probably Pacific produced fashion show that had no type of affiliation to any corporation, any kind of an assistant towards anyone outside of our community. And that's a proud moment for me and Afa, because we saw the work that our community came in strong for. So from that, I noticed in the audience the acceptance, or how first generation that probably of my generation, it was like an exciting night to dress up and show up, right? That was the excitement there. The generation that were of the kids maybe between 18 um, and 25, or maybe just shy of 30, that generation, that was a moment of being themselves,
Mhm.
but they didn't know the struggle that the generation that we're talking about that dressed up and showed up felt that night, right? So I think it depends on who's coming to the show. Um, for our designers, they're younger. Our designers are a younger generation. Um, we have a lot of 18 to almost like maybe 30-year-old designers and their audience. So when we both put this show together, we're also very considerate of the generational gaps in between who's going to be buying, who's going to be watching, who's coming dressed up. So I think from the acceptance stages of it, our Pacific Island community has been very warm and embracing and accepting. What they look forward to the most is what's on the runway. We have put together a collection of designers that really hits all the audience, members that come to our show. So we have different generations of, those who love our Pacific Prince, those who like a little bit more of that modern edge. So I think we really kind of hit every part of what we're doing, and we've learned this through the process because in our industry we have to keep up with that type of stuff,
Mhm.
or we become irrelevant to the audience that we are serving. So yeah, so that hopefully that answers that question of like who's coming to the show and the acceptance and embracing of it.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. So,
How about you?
Afa, yeah, is it exciting to see the different generations come together and kind of unify it with the fashion being the common theme?
Yeah, I mean it's always interesting, like what Ben has said. Sometimes some fashion is very subjective, and so just different people have different ideas of what fashion is supposed to look like or how fashion is supposed to look good a certain way, and so to see the older generations, sometimes some collection are like, oh, I don't know about that one, and then and then the younger generation stuff, and so it just depends on who's there and what their tastes are like. But that's the beauty of arts and being a creative person and fashion, is that there's something for everybody, and not everything is for you, and that's okay because there's always something for you. And even as a creator, I've learned that if someone doesn't like my stuff, that's okay. There's someone out there that would love my stuff. And so, and then I think that's the most interesting part about fashion shows and doing our shows, is that there's just a different variety of people and their interests and what they love and what they don't love, and so it's really fun to see.
Yeah, there's a comment in the comment section from Anna Lay. It says, I brought my 79-year-old mother last year and she loved it.
Yeah, her mom was really cool. She dressed up.
Oh,
Yeah. Hi, Lisa.
It's great for all generations, and I love that you guys are purposeful in what you're doing and include trying to be inclusive of all the generations and not only just the Pacifica people. So that's awesome, and thank you for doing that. Office, some of your designs reflect your Samoan heritage. How do you balance tradition with innovation in your work?
I think the important thing for me that I always think of is that I live in the United States of America now. I don't live in the islands,
Yeah.
and so to be able to create something that has a touch of my culture, being Samoan, but also it could transcend with just not Samoan, but all other
Yes.
islands, and not just Pacific Islanders, but everyone that wants to wear it. I think that's something that's it's fun, but also it's very hard. There's a fine line of like creating something that respects culture and traditions, but also making sure that you don't lose your voice as a creator and as a designer. And so I've somehow managed to slip through that little crevice of creating something that could speak to both. And I'm always surprised when I get, requests of like wedding gowns or evening wear or whatever that people want that are not Pacific Islander, that something that I create speak to them. And so I think that's a win as a designer, especially that's something that I always keep in mind. But yeah, it's a fine line. It's also sometimes you're just worried that you might cross the line of ex- you know creating something that just is not culturally okay. So
Mhm.
you just have to be careful. Sometimes I speak to my other designer friends. What do you think about this? Is this crossing the line or is this okay? And so to have those people in your circle would also be good to like bounce ideas off to. But yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. And
So
then,
I know the show, right? The show is, and it makes, I would think that it makes the all the hard work, right, worth it, because that's the payoff. And for both of you, you're both saying no, the night of the event, and seeing those smiling faces and the confidence on the runway, and that is the crowning moment. Is there anything, and I'm going to do what I shouldn't do, because I'm just going to throw it out there for either of you to answer, but is there any surprises, when you said, "Hey, I'm going to do this," right? And then you get into the dynamics of actually doing it and putting it together and planning it out and reaching out. Was there anything that was surprising to you, that you hadn't expected in terms of trying to put these together, or did everything kind of fall the way that you thought? And actually, I'll ask Ben first. Was there, anything in this whole process where you were like, "Wow, I really did not think this part," or surprised by anything?
Well, let's see. Something that we both probably have learned through this process, and this will, I think, as Islanders, we can probably all agree, right? We're such go-getters, right? Oh yeah, we're gonna just do this, and it's gonna all happen, and blah blah blah. And we put things into perspective, and then we line things up, um, and then something changes. It doesn't come through. It doesn't happen. And sometimes the surprise is unexpected. But what we both have learned to do is just pivot quickly and make it happen, because the way we both look at this, people have committed to us, and we've got to make it happen. So when the unexpected does happen, of course, last year was a lot of surprises. Logistics of planning a 6-day event.
Mhm.
I don't know what we were both thinking, but we were just so excited. And we sat down and we were like, yeah, and we're going to do this and we're going to plan. Well, we just didn't also, we both forgot. We both work full-time jobs. We both have personal lives. We also didn't realize some of these things would be very costly.
Yeah.
So we had to go through the process. And I think if you don't go through that, I feel like we both wouldn't have learned our mistakes, or I wouldn't say mistakes, I'd call it discoveries of
Mhm.
things that we like, okay, now we know what that's like. This year, we planned it a lot better. Like Afa said, 3 days, more impactful. How do we make it happen? Where are venues? So the surprises have taught us a lot of lessons, and we're okay with that. And this year, we're kind of already seeing sometimes, well, surprise does happen. You know, what happens if a designer doesn't make it, or something happens with the models, or a hair and makeup artist? Oh my gosh, we don't have enough people. We'll figure it out. But yeah, those things do happen. I think it's part of. I think it's just part of the business that we're in.
Yeah.
So
Wow. So I love hearing that we thought huge and we just made it happen, right? And then as you get there and you start running into, oh wow, I wasn't sure how that was going to work. How about you, Afa? Was there anything that you ran into as you're doing it and think, man, this wasn't something I expected, or was it the surprise factor?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good example, but I think for me, the thing that always surprises me the most every year is the reception of how our people react or come out and support. You know, that's always. I mean, it's not surprising, but I always think to myself, well, who am I that these people are actually coming to support my event? You know, like I have done this for so many years, and I still question myself as a creator. But every time that our show sells out, or a new designer finds our show and wants to showcase at our show, or these models all show up at our model casting, or sponsors that want to sponsor, that's always maybe not surprised, but it's always, I always think like I feel so inadequate for people to be able to believe in this dream that Ben and I have had for so long, and to be able to jump on board and just say, oh yeah, we're going to come and support. So that's something that always you know makes me think of how long we've come, how far we've come, and how much we need to, we still need to create these things, because people still don't understand what fashion designers do sometimes, or hairstylists do, or hair and makeup people. They look at the glitz and the glam and they think, oh, well, that's it. They just, they do red carpets, and that's all the things they do. But people still need to understand, the work that goes behind it. And so, yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. And then I know that there's a lot going on and that you're crazy busy up until then. Can you tell us just a few things that people can expect when they come to the show? And anyone can answer.
Sure. We'll talk a little bit on the things that they will see this year in comparison to last year. We're very excited for, first of all, the show is going to be on August the 1st. And that show is got a collective group of great designers. We've got Micronesian designers coming through. This is our first year. One thing also often I try to focus on is the other brothers and sisters of the Pacific, right? So Melanesia, Micronesia, Polynesia, we make up the Pacific Ocean. So we are grateful that we have two. And it's the same thing like what Alpha said, just like, wow, they're going to be in a show. For us to have that is an honor, and we're very, very excited to have them. We also have a designer coming in from Virginia. We also have some local designers here from Fiji as well, and we want to start to expand. We also have our first time to have a Native American indigenous designer, Cody Joe, who's going to be. Yeah, I just saw his comment come up, so we're
He's up
excited to have him. And as we all know, right, we are from the Pacific. We
now.
are the land, the sea, Earth, everything is important to us. So we're very honored to have. So that show is also at the Natural History Museum by the University of Utah. Beautiful setting, very fitting to where we live in Utah, high desert country. And then also we're creating a VIP hour for all VIP ticket holders that are coming. And we still have tickets for sale, if I can just plug that in so
Yes,
people
of course.
know. They just have to go to our website, and we have promos that we have learned that works really well with our community. And also, just to, we know that a lot of people want to come. So we've created these promotions. So right now we have a 40% off ticket sale, then we move it into a different percentage and so forth. With that being said, our first event is going to be exciting because we have a lot of panelists, I would say specialists, that are going to be on the panel. As you all know, Afa has worked and designed for the director with Moana. who is of Samoan descent. And then we also have Nona Sina, Tiana, that's coming as well. We really look for the shining gems in our community to bring these creative learning spaces to our platform. So our younger generation and those who need to get re-inspired to can be a part of this. So we've got a panel of 8 from hair and makeup artists, dancing. We also have, film and so forth. So just so you know, if you're coming to this, you're taking away a lot of good nuggets from people who have done this for a long time. And there's workshops as well. And then we're going to close it out on August the 2nd, that Saturday. It's going to be our vendor market day. We've got food trucks. This is also where designers can sell their merchandise. They have obviously retail items that they're bringing all the way to the event. And then we also have working with all different vendors. Small businesses, that's another big focus Afa and I have, is supporting small business owners, everyone, but also our community as well too. We have a lot of entrepreneurs. And this will be big because I think we can fit over 50 vendors
Wow.
and food trucks. Yeah, it's all indoors. And we're just very fortunate for to have this opportunity to do this, but also being able to give back, like we said, to our community and to promote. So the first 2 days are ticketed events. The last day is a free event, and everyone can come, enjoy, relax, shop, and enjoy the moments of what we hopefully can deliver.
That's awesome. Papa, anything else you want to add to that?
No, Ben's got it covered.
He's got it all. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
he's got it all.
yeah.
Um, I before you guys go, because I know you have dinner. We don't want to upset your wife, Alpha. And I'll start with you, Alpha. Who was your role model growing up? Who inspired you to do what you're doing now?
Well, it's my mother, of course. She's the one that taught me how to be a creative. She didn't teach me how to sew,
Mm,
but I watched her sew,
mm,
and she was the one that taught me how to weave. And well, I grew up in a very creative family. Both of my parents were creative people. My dad also played the organ and the piano and the guitar. So I was just around creative spaces all the time. And so it's because of my mom and my dad who really inspired me to go on this journey of being creative. I've noticed that I can't sit on a desk and do numbers all the time. That would drive me insane. So I'm just a scatterbrain creative that wants to do so many things. I start this thing, I'm like, oh, this is really cool. Wait, hold up, I can do this, maybe I can do this. I'm all over the place, but I get it done sometimes. But it's my mom is the one that really inspired me to go on this journey. She's the one that said, well, who the hell cares what people think? They think that you might be a certain way because you're a boy and you sew. That's okay. You can still sew when you're a boy. And so she's the one that really pushed me to go on the journey of being a designer and just sewing and exploring that side of myself, which I'm very, very grateful that I did, because I can't see myself doing anything else but this.
mm.
I live and breathe being a creative. My full-time job, I design full-time. It's just how, it's my everyday life. And so I'm just grateful that I'm blessed with these talents and that I'm able to use them, and I'm able to pay the bills.
Yeah,
But also, I think the most important thing is to be able to uplift our people. Hopefully, that if someone in the island see my journey, if I can do it, someone that was born and raised in Samoa, anyone can do it. So hopefully that's the whole idea behind this journey, is to be able to hopefully inspire somebody to go on a similar journey and to be able to see their potential as a creative, and that not everybody is meant for school. Not everybody, I'm not saying not to go to school, but not everybody is meant for that life. There's just so many people that have different ways of creating and thinking, and creatives are sometimes people that just love to create, and they're not in a box. They want to think outside of the box. So anyway,
yes.
my mom is to answer the question. Sorry, I went all over the place, but
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
no,
What
no.
a great
Yeah,
benefit to have your role model there insane. You know what I mean? So what a great benefit. And then to see you looking to pass that on to the next person, right? To see
Yeah.
that lineage pass on. It's awesome.
Yeah, my daughter's very creative. Like my daughter
Okay.
is exactly like me, does not like anything else but like dancing and going to ballet and doing Siva Samoa. She's just a creative, loves to draw. And so it's interesting how certain things we pass on to our kids. And so yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah,
Very
she's seen the two generations above her do it, right?
mhm.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
the both generations above I've seen do it, so that belief is already in her.
Yeah,
About
for
you,
sure.
Ben.
Same with Afa. It's my mom. My mom was a beautiful woman. She always was very well kept with her hair, and I always have been doing that since I was young, having her, do her hair and her makeup. Honestly, I think my mom kind of groomed me before I even knew what I was going to do.
Mm.
But yeah, I think also when I told them the same thing that Rafa said, not all of us I don't have a degree at all. I don't have I'm a AA holder, that's what I got. And creative work has taken me everywhere for the last 30 something years of my career. But I think also my mom's dedication of get up, go to school. I'm going to take you to school every day. So I don't forget those kind of things because I also remember the table I sat at. My dad worked 5 jobs. So I always know the struggle. And I keep in mind that is a humble way to always remind yourself um, to just be grateful for what you have, right? And also, I think for Afa and I, we love. I mean, we really love what we do, and we're
Yeah.
both scatterbrains, but we're both also we understand each other in that mindset of being creative, and we lean on each other's strengths. Um, but I think when we go back to our mentorship, I think our home is where it all began, and I think that's the journey that we're passing on, and hopefully the future generation can feel that that mana and that spirit of love that we want to just pass on with our work that we both enjoy doing. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. That's so awesome. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed speaking and learning a lot more about the both of you, besides me stalking you on social media. But we are really looking forward to the, fashion show. We're hoping to get out there. We want to support you as best we can. 600 people. Will this place hold 700? Because it's just going to grow. It's just going to grow. So
Well,
I'm
this year we have less guests this year.
mm,
So it'll probably be the smallest guest count since we've started this. But yeah, you gotta get your tickets before you miss out because every
yeah,
year people message us, "Do you have any more tickets?" I'm like, "Sorry, there's not any more."
yes, yes. Follow them on social media. Check out all the updates. Afa, Ben, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We'll
Thank
be
you.
promoting it up until August 2nd. And then make sure you get your tickets. When you check out, Analay says CPF 40, you'll get 40% off your ticket up until June 21st. You really want to get your tickets now before prices go up and they sell out, which they will sell out. Thank you so much for joining us this
Mhm.
evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We appreciate your time. God bless you.
Thank you both.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so
you,
much.
Naki.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Carl.
Thank you. Oh my God. So awesome.
Wow. It's hard not
They,
to get excited when you
I
talk to them
know,
because they're both
I
so passionate about
know.
what they're doing that I
Mm,
found myself I want to go I'm not sure what I want to do, but I want to go do something because it's just infectious how passionate they are about what they're doing.
yes. That's my baby's on. My baby's on.
Hi, Evie.
Hey, Evie. Well, that is us. That is you. We can't top that. There's no topping those two amazing creatives. Please follow Creative Pacific on Instagram and all social media outlets. Please get your tickets now. It will 100% sell out. It will
Soon.
sell out quickly. Get your tickets 40% off before June 21st. Anale, thank you so much for the connection. We appreciate you, sister. Um, God bless you. We are here every Thursday at 6 p.m. Come back to FICO with us.
Love you all.